In the year 3050, humanity had achieved what once seemed impossible. They had spread across the galaxy, establishing colonies on countless planets, each thriving in their own unique way. From the lush jungles of Terra Prime to the icy tundras of glacious IV humans, adapted to every environment, harnessing technology and innovation to create a vibrant interstellar society. But amid this expansion, an ancient presence stared deep within the dark recesses of the cosmos. The Zartok were a race of beings so advanced that their very existence had become a myth amongst the stars. Their name was spoken only in hushed tones, an echo of a time long forgotten. They had ruled the galaxy for millennia, dominating civilizations with their superior technology and ruthless tactics. But as they slept in their hidden citadel on the planet Kraith, the encroaching wave of humanity went unnoticed. When the Zartok finally awoke, their minds were filled with a singular thought: humanity must be eliminated. The Zartok saw the rise of the human race as a threat to their long-established order, and they would not allow it to continue. The decision was made without hesitation. They would launch a preemptive strike against the humans before they could unite and become an unstoppable force. On the day of the attack, humanity was celebrating the anniversary of their first interstellar colony. A fleet of ships adorned with the insignia of the Galactic Alliance moved through space, adorned with flags of various allied species. There was laughter and joy as humans and aliens shared stories of their triumphs and dreams of the future. But above them, hidden in the shadows of the void, the Zartok warships lay in wait, poised to unleash devastation. The assault began without warning. The Zartok unleashed a torrent of energy weapons and missiles, raining down destruction upon the unsuspecting colonies. The initial explosions shattered the peace of the celebration, sending shockwaves through the hearts of those on the ground. Panic erupted as people scrambled for shelter and safety. Amidst the chaos, screams filled the air as entire cities were reduced to ruins in mere moments. On Earth, Commander Leah Hastings watched in horror as the monitors displayed the carnage across the colonies. Her heart raced as she struggled to comprehend the magnitude of the assault. This was not a mere skirmish, but a calculated extermination. Leah knew that the Galactic Council had underestimated the threat of the Zartok, believing them to be a fading relic of a bygone era. She felt a fire ignite within her, a need to fight back, to rally the scattered survivors. In the aftermath of the first strikes, the reality of the situation settled in. The survivors gathered in underground bunkers and makeshift shelters. They shared their stories of loss and heartache, but also their hopes for revenge. With fear coursing through their veins, they formed alliances out of necessity, bonding over shared grief. They resolved to rise against the invaders. As the weeks passed, the Zartok advanced further into human territory, decimating every resistance. The once vibrant colonies now lay in ruins, a testament to humanity's vulnerability. Yet within the shadows of despair, a flicker of resilience began to emerge. Survivors transformed their grief into determination, igniting a spirit of defiance that had long been dormant. In clandestine meetings, they devised plans for a counteroffensive. They scavenged through the rubble of their fallen cities, searching for remnants of technology that could be repurposed. They exchanged tales of ancient warriors from Earth's past, stories of courage and ingenuity. They were no longer mere victims. They were warriors ready to reclaim their legacy and face the nightmare that had befallen them. The galaxy had underestimated humanity's resolve, and as whispers of resistance began to spread across the stars, it became clear that this nightmare was far from over. As the first strikes rained down on humanity, the Zartok believed their victory was assured. They reveled in the chaos they had unleashed, imagining the fear and confusion that gripped the human race. But what they failed to realize was that beneath the rubble of their destroyed worlds, something was awakening. A spark ignited within humanity, a primal urge to survive and fight back against their oppressors. Commander Leah Hastings emerged as an unexpected leader. Her fierce spirit and unyielding determination galvanizing the scattered remnants of humanity. In the underground bunkers, she organized meetings, bringing together scientists, engineers, and soldiers to strategize. They exchanged ideas and skills, pooling their knowledge in a desperate attempt to reclaim their lives, and their world Leia inspired them with stories of resilience and bravery from humanity's history, reminding them of their ancestors who had faced impossible odds and triumphed. Across the galaxy, survivors began to organize resistance cells, formed in secret, emerging from the shadows of despair. They communicated through encrypted channels, sharing information and coordinating efforts to sabotage Zartok supply lines and communication networks. In the face of overwhelming odds, these brave individuals conducted daring raids on Zartok outposts, striking hard and disappearing before the enemy could retaliate. Mira Zhang, a young engineer with a fierce intellect, emerged as a key figure in the resistance. She harnessed her technical skills to create makeshift weapons and defenses using scavenged technology from the ruins of their fallen cities. Her passion for innovation inspired others, and soon her workshop became a hub of activity as volunteers flocked to help turn ideas into reality. They constructed energy shields from old satellite parts, modified blasters, from spare vehicle components, and drones from discarded technology. As the resistance grew stronger, the Zartok began to feel the effects of their initial overconfidence. They underestimated the human capacity for adaptation and innovation. As the resistance began to strike back with calculated precision, in one bold operation, a group of resistance fighters infiltrated a Zartok supply depot, disabling weapons caches and stealing vital resources. Their success fueled hope among the survivors, igniting a fire that spread throughout the colonies. Yet the Zartok were relentless in their pursuit of total annihilation. Their forces regrouped, launching counterattacks aimed at crushing the resistance. Before it could gain any more momentum, the Zartok High Command issued an edict declaring total war on humanity, believing that only through extermination could they restore order to the galaxy. As the months passed, the brutality of the conflict escalated. Zartok warships descended upon planets with no regard for civilian lives, obliterating entire populations in their quest for dominance. But with each brutal attack, the human spirit only grew stronger. They refused to submit and instead channeled their pain into determination, becoming united in their resolve to reclaim their home. Leia and Mira became symbols of hope, rallying their people with powerful speeches that echoed through the corridors of their makeshift bases. They called upon the galaxy to remember that humanity had faced darkness before and emerged stronger, united in their desire for freedom and justice. One fateful night, as the stars twinkled above the remnants of a devastated city, Leia addressed her gathered comrades. She spoke of the importance of their shared struggle, igniting a passion within them that coursed like fire through their veins. In that moment, they became not just survivors, but warriors prepared to fight for their future. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, but with each act of defiance and resistance, the tide was beginning to shift. As hope rekindled in the hearts of those who had lost everything, they began to realize that their history was far from over and their fight was only just beginning. As the resistance grew bolder, Commander Leia Hastings and Engineer Mira Zhang knew they needed to harness every ounce of ingenuity they could muster. In the face of overwhelming odds, they devised a plan to strike at the heart of the Zartok war machine. They would target a key supply depot that served as a central hub for Zartok operations on a strategically vital planet known as Viridian. Gathering a small team of elite fighters, they meticulously mapped out the layout of the depot using stolen schematics. The team included skilled soldiers who had proven themselves in previous skirmishes, as well as engineers who could adapt their technology on the fly. Leia felt a sense of camaraderie among them, a bond forged in the fires of shared struggle. On the night of the operation, darkness enveloped the depot as the team approached, cloaked in shadows. The glow of Zartok patrol lights illuminated the area, casting eerie shadows across the ground. Mira led the way using her technical expertise to disable security systems, while the others prepared their weapons and checked their gear. Tension hung in the air as they moved closer to their objective. As they reached the outer perimeter, Mira activated a small drone equipped with surveillance technology. It soared silently into the night, sending live feeds back to the team. They watched intently as the drone captured the movements of Zartok's soldiers, revealing gaps in the defenses. Lee felt a rush of adrenaline as she realized they had a chance to execute the plan without being detected. With a nod from Lee, the team moved swiftly, engaging in a series of silent hand signals. Each member knew their role by heart, and as they slipped through the shadows, they felt a sense of purpose coursing through them. They were no longer just survivors, but warriors determined to reclaim their home. They breached the main entrance with expert precision, slipping past the guards and infiltrating the heart of the depot. Inside, the atmosphere was tense and foreboding. The walls were adorned with alien symbols and technology that felt foreign and intimidating, but the team pressed on. Mira's heart raced as she began to disable the primary systems of the depot. Her fingers danced across the interface of a control panel as she hacked into the Zartok technology, channeling her fear into focus. As she worked, Leah kept watch, scanning for any signs of incoming patrols. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the depot, shattering the silence and sending waves of panic through the team. Zartok soldiers flooded the corridors as chaos erupted. Leah knew they had to act quickly. They grabbed what they could, including energy cells and weapons, before they prepared to make their escape. Fighting their way through the fray, the team relied on their training and instinct as they engaged the Zartok soldiers in fierce hand-to-hand combat. The adrenaline surged through their veins as they pushed forward, determined to escape with their lives and their newfound resources. As they reached the exit, Leah and Mira exchanged determined glances. They knew the stakes were high, but they were not about to back down. With their hearts pounding, they burst through the door into the open air of the night, only to find themselves surrounded by Zartok forces. In a desperate bid for survival, the team fought fiercely despite the overwhelming odds. Lee rallied her comrades, encouraging them to hold the line. They had come too far to surrender now. As the battle raged, Mira spotted an opening leading toward a nearby transport vessel. She shouted to Leah, directing them toward their only chance of escape. With bullets flying and energy blasts illuminating the night, they sprinted for the ship. Lee felt a surge of hope as they boarded and activated the controls. Mira worked frantically to initiate the launch sequence, while the rest covered her back. As the ship lifted off the ground, the team exhaled in relief, knowing they had not only survived, but struck a significant blow against the Zartok. In the aftermath of the raid, the team returned to their underground base, greeted as heroes. The supplies they secured would bolster their resistance efforts and ignite a newfound sense of hope among the survivors. Lee and Mira stood side by side, looking out over their comrades, who were now united in purpose, ready to continue the fight against their ancient enemies. With the momentum shifting humanity's way, Lee and Mira knew this was just the beginning. They had ignited a flame of rebellion across the galaxy, and their fight would continue as they sought to reclaim their home and prove that humanity could not be underestimated. The success of the raid on Viridian sent shockwaves throughout the ranks of the resistance. The supplies they had secured were a lifeline that rejuvenated hope among the scattered survivors. Lee Hastings and Mira Zhang understood the significance of their victory. It was not merely about the weapons and resources they acquired, but the message it conveyed that humanity could stand against the might of the Zartok. In the weeks that followed, the resistance transformed into a well-organized movement. The underground base became a bustling hub of activity. Engineers worked tirelessly alongside scientists and strategists to develop new technologies and tactics. Inspired by the past, They delved into ancient archives of human history, seeking knowledge that could be repurposed in their fight against the Zartok. Mira took charge of the innovation team, teaching her fellow engineers to adapt forgotten technologies from Earth's history into their arsenal. They created makeshift weaponry, utilizing salvaged materials and modified Zartok technology. Her workshop was filled with the sounds of tools and the chatter of excited volunteers who were eager to contribute to the cause. One evening, as the team gathered for a briefing, Mira unveiled a prototype. She had been working on it was a small device capable of emitting an energy pulse. Designed to disrupt Zartok technology, she explained how it could disable their weapons, temporarily giving humanity a crucial advantage in battle. The room buzzed with excitement as they realized the potential of this new weapon. As the Resistance prepared to deploy the device in their next mission, Leah stood before her comrades. She spoke passionately about the importance of their fight, emphasizing the legacy they were building together. She reminded them of their shared history of resilience and ingenuity, igniting a fire within them that propelled them forward. Meanwhile, the Zartok High Command grew increasingly frustrated by the unexpected resilience of humanity. They had expected to crush the human spirit with their initial assaults, but instead they had unwittingly awakened a sleeping giant. They dispatched more forces to quell the uprising, but each strike seemed to backfire, fueling the flames of resistance. The Resistance planned a series of strategic strikes aimed at Zartok installations across multiple planets. They coordinated efforts to maximize their impact, hitting supply depots and communication centers in rapid succession. Each successful operation further solidified their reputation as a force to be reckoned with. As they continued to strike fear into the hearts of the Zartok, Leah and Mira began to notice a shift in the morale of their comrades. A sense of unity emerged as former rivals put aside their differences to join the fight. They had become a family bound by their shared purpose and the belief that they could change the tide of war. On one fateful day, Leah and Mira led a mission to liberate a colony that had been taken hostage by the Zartok. They gathered their most skilled fighters, preparing for what would be one of their most dangerous operations. Yet the colony was heavily fortified, and the Zartok were determined to maintain control at any cost. Under the cover of darkness, the Resistance fighters approached the colony. The atmosphere was tense, but the determination in their hearts burned bright. They knew they were fighting not just for their own survival, but for the freedom of those oppressed by the Zartok regime. As they infiltrated the compound, Leah directed her team with precision, employing tactics honed from their previous experiences. They moved silently through the shadows, disabling security systems and neutralizing guards with practiced efficiency. Mira activated the energy pulse device they had developed, unleashing a wave of disruption that left Zartok weapons useless. The tide turned in favor of the Resistance as they engaged in fierce combat with the Zartok soldiers. The air was filled with the sounds of energy blasts and the shouts of warriors determined to reclaim their home. Leah fought alongside her comrades, her heart pounding with adrenaline as they pushed deeper into the colony. With each Zartok, they defeated the cries of the liberated colonists, rang out, fueling their resolve. As the Resistance fought tirelessly, Leah felt a surge of hope. Their actions were reshaping the narrative of humanity's struggle in the galaxy, proving that they could not only survive but thrive. As dawn broke over the horizon, the Resistance emerged victorious. The once oppressed colony had been liberated, and the cheers of the people echoed in the air. Leah and Mira exchanged triumphant glances, knowing that they had written another chapter in their shared history. This was just the beginning, and they were ready to forge ahead, reclaiming their destiny against the shadows of their past. As news of the successful liberation spread like wildfire throughout the galaxy, the Resistance's reputation soared. They had transformed from a scattered group of survivors into a formidable force capable of challenging the Zartok. The once overlooked humans were now seen as a beacon of hope among the oppressed beings of the cosmos, as they rose from the ashes of despair. Alliances began to form between humanity and other alien species who had also suffered under Zartok tyranny. Representatives from various worlds approached Lee Hastings and Mira Zhang, seeking to join their cause. They recognized that the Zartok posed a threat not only to humanity, but to the very fabric of freedom in the galaxy. With open arms, Lee welcomed them into their ranks, each new ally bringing unique skills and perspectives that enriched their collective effort. Among the first to arrive was a group of the Lorians, a graceful race known for their agility and advanced stealth technology. They had long suffered under Zartok oppression, and their leaders saw an opportunity to unite their strength with humanity's resilience. Together, they devised intricate plans to strike at Zartok's strongholds across multiple fronts. Meanwhile, Mira continued to innovate, developing more sophisticated weaponry and defenses. With her team of engineers, she created energy shields capable of protecting their fighters from Zartok blasts, and vehicles retrofitted with the latest technology to enhance their speed and firepower. They utilized every resource at their disposal to ensure that humanity was no longer at a technological disadvantage. In the following weeks, they executed daring missions that showcased the combined might of their newly formed coalition. They struck Zartok supply lines, crippling their operations and disrupting communications that had long been used to coordinate their assaults. As the resistance gained momentum, their victories began to inspire other oppressed races to join the fight against the Zartok regime. As the coalition grew, Leia and Mira knew they needed to consolidate their power. They arranged a summit inviting leaders from all allied races to gather and discuss strategies for the upcoming battles. The meeting was held in a hidden location on the planet Terrasis, a lush world brimming with life and natural beauty. The gathering was filled with energy as representatives shared stories of their struggles and dreams of freedom. Lee stood at the forefront, feeling a sense of responsibility weigh upon her shoulders. She spoke passionately about the importance of unity, emphasizing that their collective strength was their greatest asset. Mira contributed by presenting their latest technological advancements, showcasing the energy pulse device that had proven instrumental in their success. She explained how it could be further enhanced with the combined expertise of their allies, and how together they could develop weapons that would rival Zartok technology. As the summit progressed, a deep sense of camaraderie formed among the attendees. Each race brought their own skills to the table, and the discussions flowed with excitement and determination. They mapped out plans for a coordinated offensive aimed at a key Zartok stronghold on the planet Drakthar. This location served as a critical point for Zartok operations, and taking it would strike a severe blow to their military capabilities. As they finalized their plans, Lee felt an overwhelming sense of hope. For the first time in a long while, she believed they could succeed together. They were not just humans or aliens, but a united front against a common enemy. However, as the coalition prepared for their next mission, the Zartok High Command grew increasingly alarmed by the alliance forming among the oppressed races. They could no longer ignore the signs of rebellion, and dispatched reinforcements to Drakthar, hoping to crush the resistance before it could gain any more ground. As the date of the assault approached, Leia and Mira worked tirelessly, ensuring that every detail was accounted for. They trained their fighters, developing tactics that utilized each race's strengths, ensuring that they would strike with precision and force. Finally, the day arrived as the coalition forces assembled, preparing to launch their assault on Drakthar. Leia stood alongside Mira, gazing at the gathered troops, their resolve shining brightly in their eyes. They were ready to fight for their freedom, and to show the galaxy that together they could defy the odds and stand against the nightmare that threatened their very existence. With a shared battle cry echoing through the ranks, the coalition forces surged into action. The galaxy had underestimated humanity before, but this time they would not be silenced. This time, they would rewrite their destiny together. The coalition forces surged toward the Zartok stronghold, on Drakthar, their hearts pounding with anticipation and determination. The atmosphere was electric, as Leah Hastings and Mira Zhang led the charge, their voices rising above the roar of engines and the clamour of eager warriors. They had spent weeks preparing for this moment, and now it was time to put their plans into action. As they approached the Zartok stronghold, the imposing fortress loomed ahead, a massive structure bristling with energy turrets and defense systems. Leah's heart raced, but she steeled herself, focusing on the mission. They had come too far to turn back now. With a quick glance at Mira, she signaled the team to activate their cloaking devices, blending into the shadows of the rocky landscape. The coalition moved in unison, their training evident, as they navigated the treacherous terrain, avoiding detection. The Zartok soldiers patrolled the perimeter, unaware of the storm that was about to be unleashed upon them. With every step they took, the resistance fighters felt the weight of their shared purpose, solidifying their resolve to fight not just for themselves, but for every oppressed being across the galaxy. Upon reaching the outer defenses, Leave raised her hand, signaling the team to halt. They had a small window to disrupt the Zartok's communications. Before launching their full assault, Mira quickly activated the energy pulse device, sending a surge of disruption through the stronghold. The hum of Zartok technology faltered as alarms blared, announcing that their systems were compromised. With the element of surprise on their side, Leah shouted the command to attack, and the coalition surged forward. Weapons drawn, they poured into the stronghold like a wave crashing against a rocky shore, the sounds of battle echoing in the air. The Zartok soldiers scrambled to respond, but chaos ensued as their systems faltered and their coordination broke down. Mira fought alongside her comrades, her heart pounding with adrenaline. As she maneuvered through the fray, she had never felt so alive, the energy of the moment fueling her every action. She unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, using the weapons she had created with her team, each shot finding its mark as Zartok soldiers fell around her. The resistance fighters pressed forward, systematically dismantling the Zartok defenses. Their strategy of employing the unique strengths of each allied race paid off as Elorian warriors struck from the shadows, disabling key turrets, while human engineers hacked into the stronghold systems to provide vital intel. Lee moved through the chaos, commanding her team with fierce determination, her voice cutting through the din of battle. As they breached the inner sanctum of the stronghold, they encountered heavy resistance. The Zartok High Command had anticipated an attack and had fortified their defenses. Leith and Mira pushed through the onslaught, knowing that the heart of the stronghold was within reach. In a pivotal moment, Leah spotted the command center, a fortified chamber filled with Zartok leaders, observing the chaos on their monitors. She felt a surge of determination, recognizing that if they could take control of the command center, they could cripple the Zartok's ability to coordinate their remaining forces. With a rallying cry, Leah led the charge toward the command center. The team fought fiercely, pushing through the waves of Zartok soldiers who sought to defend their leaders. As the door to the command center slid open, Leah burst inside alongside Mira, her heart racing as she faced the Zartok High Command for the first time. The room was filled with tension as the Zartok leaders regarded the intruders with a mix of surprise and anger. Leah stepped forward, brandishing her weapon, ready to confront them. She demanded the immediate surrender of the Zartok and the release of all captured beings. But instead of capitulation, the Zartok leaders laughed with contempt, believing that humanity would never overcome their superiority. But Leith and Mira were no longer afraid. They were no longer the underdogs. They had fought and bled for every inch they had gained, and in that moment they knew they would not back down. With a fierce determination, Leah and Mira exchanged a glance that spoke volumes of their shared resolve. They would not only reclaim their freedom, but also inspire others to rise up against the darkness that had plagued the galaxy for far too long. As the battle raged on outside the command center, the fate of the coalition hung in the balance. Leia felt the weight of the moment settle upon her shoulders. They were on the precipice of victory, and they would not allow this opportunity to slip away. With a roar of defiance, Leia and Mira launched themselves into the fray, determined to rewrite the history of their people and the galaxy forever. In that moment, the tides of war shifted irrevocably as humanity and their allies united to challenge the nightmare that had long cast its shadow over their lives. The command center erupted in chaos as Leia Hastings and Mira Zhang charged forward, confronting the Zartok High Command. The air crackled with tension as the resistance fighters clashed with Zartok soldiers, who scrambled to protect their leaders. Leia's heart raced as she took in the scene around her. The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome of this battle would shape the future of the galaxy. With her weapon raised, Leia fought with a ferocity born from desperation and hope. She moved fluidly through the chaos, dodging energy blasts and returning fire with precision. Mira was close behind her, using her engineering skills to hack into the Zartok systems, disrupting their communications and sending out false information to their remaining forces. In the midst of the battle, Leia caught a glimpse of the Zartok leaders, their faces contorted with rage and disbelief. They had underestimated humanity, believing them to be weak and insignificant, yet here they were fighting for their lives and their freedom. Myra's fingers flew over the console as she accessed critical systems. She relayed information to Leia about troop movements and resource allocations, with every second counting. They needed to capitalize on the chaos they had created outside in order to take control of the command center. As they fought their way deeper into the heart of the stronghold, the resistance team pressed forward, a fierce determination propelling them. The sounds of battle echoed through the halls, their cries mingling with the shouts of Zartok soldiers as they scrambled to regain control. Leia could feel the tide turning in their favor with every Zartok soldier they brought down. Suddenly a surge of energy enveloped the room as the Zartok High Command attempted to rally their forces. Leia saw the desperation in their eyes. They were trying to regain control over their shattered plans, but Leia and her comrades had a chance to deliver a decisive blow. With a fierce battle cry, Leia signaled her team to push forward. They reached the Zartok leaders, who had barricaded themselves in a fortified chamber. Leia burst through the door, her heart pounding, as she confronted the leaders face to face. The Zartok commander snarled with contempt, demanding to know how humanity had managed to survive against the overwhelming might of their forces. Leia's response came swiftly. She declared that humanity had awakened a spirit that would no longer be suppressed, and that they would fight for their freedom until their last breath. In that moment, the Zartok commander raised a weapon, aiming it at Leia. But before he could pull the trigger, Mira acted swiftly, deploying a small device she had been working on. The energy pulse surged through the air, hitting the Zartok commander and rendering his weapon useless. Seizing the moment, Leia lunged forward, tackling the commander to the ground. The Zartok leaders were caught off guard, and the resistance fighters moved in to secure the area. Leia's team quickly subdued the remaining Zartok soldiers within the chamber. As the dust settled, Leia looked around at her comrades who had fought alongside her shoulder to shoulder. They were battered and bruised, but their eyes sparkled with a sense of triumph. They had pushed through unimaginable odds, and now stood victorious in the heart of the enemy stronghold. Mira joined Leia, breathing heavily as she took in the scene around her. Together, they had achieved something that once seemed impossible. They had taken control of the command center and secured a vital victory against the Zartok. But the battle was not over. They knew that this was merely a stepping stone in their larger struggle. The Zartok would not give up easily, and the coalition would need to be vigilant in their efforts to dismantle their empire. Leia called her team together, urging them to regroup and plan their next move. They had to leverage their victory at Drakthar to inspire other oppressed races to rise against their oppressors. She reminded them of the countless lives still at stake and the importance of continuing the fight for freedom. As they began to strategize, Leia felt a renewed sense of purpose swell within her. They were no longer the underdogs fighting in the shadows. They were a force to be reckoned with, a united front against tyranny. With the strength of their allies bolstering their resolve, Leia and Mira prepared for the next phase of their campaign. They would strike at the very heart of the Zartok Empire, dismantling it piece by piece until every being was free from its grasp. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, but now they would witness the unbreakable spirit of a people determined to reclaim their destiny and forge a future where freedom reigned supreme. With the command center secured, Leia Hastings and Mira Zhang gathered their forces, preparing for the next phase of their campaign. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation as the coalition forces celebrated their hard-fought victory. But Leia knew they could not afford to linger in the glow of success. They had gained momentum, but the Zartok would not rest, and neither could they. As Leia addressed her comrades, she felt the weight of their expectations on her shoulders. They had rallied together to fight for a common cause, and it was her duty to lead them forward. She spoke passionately about their shared mission, emphasizing the importance of their victory at Drakthar and how it could serve as a beacon of hope for oppressed beings across the galaxy. Mira stood beside Leia, her eyes shining with determination. She understood the importance of rallying their allies and proposed a bold strategy to strike at the heart of the Zartok Empire. They would need to target a central hub, a massive station known as the Varkath Nexus that served as the nerve center for Zartok operations across multiple systems. As the leaders discussed their plans, it became clear that they needed to harness their combined strengths to succeed. They would need to utilize the stealth capabilities of the Elorians, the technological prowess of the humans, and the sheer force of the allied races to launch a multi-pronged assault on the Varkath Nexus. Leia felt a surge of excitement as the plans came together. Each race contributed their insights and skills, refining their approach until it became a cohesive strategy that they could all rally behind. It was a testament to their unity and determination to fight against the darkness that had oppressed them for too long. As they finalized their plans, Leia took a moment to reflect on how far they had come from the early days of despair to this point of unity and strength. It was a journey forged in fire and sacrifice, but now they were ready to confront the Zartok head-on. In the days leading up to the assault, the coalition forces trained relentlessly, preparing for the challenges that lay ahead. Mira continued to innovate, developing new technologies to support their attack, including enhanced shielding and energy weapons that would give them a fighting chance against the Zartok's formidable defenses. Finally, the day arrived as the coalition forces assembled in their ships, ready to launch the attack on the Varkath Nexus. Leia stood at the helm of her ship, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. She looked out at her comrades who were ready to fight for their freedom and their future. With a deep breath, she activated the comms channel, rallying her team together. She reminded them of their shared purpose and the sacrifices they had made to get to this point. As the ship soared through the stars, Leia felt a sense of destiny envelop her. As they approached the Varkath Nexus, the colossal structure loomed ahead. The sight of it sent a wave of determination coursing through Leia and her allies. They were here to reclaim their freedom and to prove that they would not be silenced. The assault began with precision as coalition forces executed their carefully planned strategy. Elorian warriors darted through the shadows, disabling key defense systems, while engineers hacked into the Nexus's security protocols. Mira led her team in the fight using her expertise to disrupt the Zartok technology and keep their defenses faltering. With each successful strike, the resistance fighters pushed deeper into the heart of the station. Leah and Mira moved together. Side by side, their bond strengthened by the challenges they faced. They fought with unmatched tenacity, knowing that they were not just fighting for themselves, but for every being who had suffered under Zartok rule. As they approached a central control room, Leah could feel the weight of history upon them. They were on the verge of delivering a crushing blow to the Zartok Empire. But just as they reached the final barrier, a group of elite Zartok guards emerged, blocking their path. Leah's heart raced as she assessed the situation. The guards were formidable, but she refused to back down. This was their moment to change the course of history. She rallied her comrades, urging them to stand strong and fight with everything they had. In a fierce battle that followed, Leah felt the intensity of the moment engulf her. They fought with everything they had, determination fueling their every action. It was a clash of wills, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of those who dared to stand against tyranny. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Leah and Mira broke through the final defenses and entered the control room. The sight that met them was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The central hub of the Zartok operations flickered with screens filled with data and communication channels. Leah wasted no time activating the systems as Mira worked alongside her. They began to disseminate vital information to their allies across the galaxy, sending out broadcasts, urging others to rise up against the Zartok. As the control room erupted into chaos outside, Leah and Mira knew they had succeeded in delivering a crippling blow to the Zartok regime. The tide of war had shifted irrevocably, and the galaxy would never again underestimate humanity. In that moment, Leah realized they were no longer fighting for survival, but for a future filled with hope and freedom. Together, they would continue to fight, inspiring others to join their cause and reclaim their rightful place in the cosmos. With the strength of their allies and the courage of their hearts, they would forge a new path, free from the shadows of oppression. They were ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead, because they had proven that the spirit of humanity was unyielding, and together they would rewrite their history in the stars.